Hello, this is Weaver 900 and I am doing a tier list for the Ultimate Firefight Series weapons. Let's get right into it. I know it's a bit crazy for the creator of the mod to be doing a tier list, but I can admit that some of the weapons suck. So, right, first of all, the assault rifle. C tier, the ultimate middle of the pack weapon. You hold down the trigger and you shoot it at the enemies and eventually they die. Not very quickly, but eventually. There's no real skill to using it and it kind of sucks beyond mid-range, but it's got the exact same stats as the Reach assault rifle, and I think even in Ultimate Firefight Sandbox it still does what it's supposed to do, which is be an easy weapon to pick up and just shoot at things with. In contrast to the next weapon, the battle rifle, the normal battle rifle. It's always going to be an A tier weapon, aside from when it's an S tier weapon. Cough cough, Halo 2. Burst fire, the exact same stats as Halo 3, I want to say. Burst fire kills everything. It's not quite as good as baseline Halo 3 on purpose. Not because anything's different about the BR, but because so many enemies have helmets and the BR can't shoot through the helmets. That's on purpose though. In Halo 2 and Halo 3 and Halo 4 really, and kind of in Halo 5, the battle rifle just dominates. Like, there's no point using any other weapon, so I consciously decided not going to happen in this game. It's still a very, very good weapon, but because so many enemies have helmets, it's not as good at, say, like clearing lots of weak enemies like grunts. Like, there are other tools that are better at that. It's not the best at everything, so as is intended. The next weapon is the Spec Ops battle rifle. I am gonna say it's difficult because this one, by the way, is based on Mythic Jackie's Spec Ops battle rifle. I'm gonna say C tier. Would I rather have this for an assault rifle? I'm going to say lower than the assault rifle, to be honest. Not due to how Mythic Jackie designed it, I designed it. Basically, I had to nerf its zoomed in fire a lot, because otherwise it had way too much ammo compared to everything else in the sandbox. I've played a bit of the Mythic Overall mod. In that mod, it works great. Or it did. I actually haven't seen it in the new version. In the old version I played, it was there. It worked great because every weapon has a lot more ammo in that mod, and you're not punished for sticking to one weapon for like a whole mission in that mod. In Ultimate Firefight, because there are so many weapons, I try to get you to change weapon as much as possible, like, so that you don't get bored, basically. If you're just shooting at everything with a battle rifle, I feel like you are going to get bored because it's just a survival mode. So I tried to get you to use all the different weapons. So because of that, I had to cut down on the zoomed in fire because it barely uses any ammo. As a result, it kind of sucks. It's burst fire unzoomed, zoomed in. It's a one shot, but the one shot does about as much as like the basic pistol. So it's not great. But unzoomed, it's still a battle rifle, so that does a lot for it. I mean, at the end of the day, just don't zoom in, it's a battle rifle. And zoomed in, you can still one-shot jackals and take helmets off grunts, so it's not bad, it's not good, it's C tier. Then on to the SMG. Right, bit of controversy. The base SMG, it's really, really good. And again, it's unmodified from Halo 3 vanilla stats. But due to the mod having a lot of tanky enemies, like the brutes don't really have much more health than normal Halo 3 brutes. They just have helmets, and the SMG doesn't care if you have an helmet, it's going to shred you. So it does a lot of work, and you can dual wield it, and then it does even more work. It's either B or A. I'm going to give it a B for now, but it might drop down. And then the silenced SMG has the exact same stats, as the normal SMG, except it has lower ammo. I can't remember off the top of my head how much lower ammo, but I know it's lower ammo, and the recoil's not as bad. That's different from the ODST one, by the way, because the ODST one actually has way worse recoil. I think because you're meant to be an ODST, but obviously if I kept it like that, it'd just be worse in every way than the SMG. So accuracy, less ammo. I don't think it's worth it. So I'm going to say that's it's still probably better than the assault rifle, especially up close. In fact, even far away, because it has got a zoom, which the normal SMG doesn't have. I'm going to put B tier for the silenced SMG. You probably would prefer to just have more ammo, because you're not going to use it at massive ranges, and like it's not that hard to aim the SMG. Like, just flick the stick down a bit every now and then. It just tries to rise. So I'm going to say B for now. Then we have the normal pistol, the Halo 2 pistol. Again, same stats as Halo 2 baseline. It can be dual wielded. It shoots really, really fast, but it doesn't have that much ammo, and it does barely any damage. Same with the auto mag, which is pretty much the same gun again. The ammo might be different, but I know there's barely anything in it. I think this has 8, this has 12. And that has a zoom. So auto mag's better. It's still not good. It's still not great. It's a good starting weapon because you can start headshotting grunts and jackals and like thin the herd that's after you when you first spawn in. But other than that, you want something better if you've started with a pistol or an auto mag. I'm gonna say the pistol. I'm gonna say it's C tier, the normal pistol, and the auto mag is also C tier. Yeah, I don't think you can say anything about that, to be honest. It's you never like, yeah, I have a pistol. You just like, oh, I've got the pistol. Is there anything better around? Next up, we have the Magnum, which is, it's not the same as any Halo game stats, in case you're wondering. The damage is the same as the Halo CE pistol, but the firing works like the Halo Reach pistol. So you can't just hold down the trigger like Halo CE, but it does have the Halo CE damage. So it packs a massive punch, and it can shoot through helmets. So it's really, really good. The only thing that kind of lets it down is after every shot, there's a little bit of screen shake, which can throw off your shots if you're shooting really fast. But other than that, it's a really good gun. I would go as far as to say, where would I put it? I would say it's high B tier, because you're still going to prefer an SMG up close. You're still going to prefer a battle rifle overall. But it's still really good. Next we have the DMR. Now, the DMR in this mod, you may disagree with me on this. It's better than the battle rifle. Just due to the fact it can shoot through helmets. So if there's a bunch of grunts after you, you can shoot through their helmets. It doesn't shoot through brutes. None of these weapons do shoot through brute helmets. Only power weapons do. And I'll see about doing a power weapon tier list if people enjoy this video. So give it a like, give it a comment. Say if you disagree with any of these choices, and tell me what your favourite weapon is out of these in Ultimate Firefight. I'd love to know. And let me know any little balancing things that you'd like to change, and I'll see about doing it. But yeah, back to the DMR. The DMR headshot machine takes out all grunts in one shot, takes out jackals. It manages to make skirmishers not be annoying, because you can just one-shot the skirmishers through the helmet. The DMR puts in a lot of work. It's harder to aim than the battle rifle, because it's got no burst. If you miss your one shot, you've missed your one shot. It's not the best option up close. It's not going to be as good as the SMG right up close, but it's still very, very good in all situations. So yeah, I think it just edges out the battle rifle to be the best of sort of that class of guns. Next up, we have the Commando Rifle. Right, the Commando Rifle, the way I always look at it is, it's basically the Halo 2 pistol if it could fire fully automatic, which is okay, but generally, if you aim right, you're only going to use 2 shots anyway, because you're going to shoot once to knock a grunt's helmet off, and then you're going to shoot again to kill it. Because it shoots so fast, it can strip shields quite well, so it's not useless against elites. But you'd still prefer to have some form of plasma weapon, or even the DMR is a bit more consistent in just like, if you keep hitting an elite in the head, it will die. So overall, it's not all that. I'm going to put it in C tier, but it's the top of C tier. It can still get headshots. It doesn't penetrate helmets, but it can still do well. If you've got a bunch of grunts after you, just fire into the crowd while backtracking, and it'll do good at that. It'll thin out the herd, but it's not going to be consistent. It's not going to be as consistent as the better weapons. So moving on to the Covenant weapons now, and I think by and large, the Covenant weapons, both, they're more specialised. They're not just general point and shoot like the human weapons, and they're not quite as good on the whole, I would say. Some of them are really good. One of them, I think, is probably going to be my favourite weapon out of all of these and the top of the tier list. But in general, not great. You got the plasma rifle. It's going to be our first D tier. I hate to do it. It's the exact same stats as the Halo Reach plasma rifle, except you can dual wield it, and it doesn't have any penalties to dual wielding. So it's way better than the Halo 3 plasma rifle. It's really good compared to it, and it's still not great. I don't think the plasma rifle's been good in any Halo game since maybe Halo CE, because it could slow down enemies, and it can't do that in any other game. Like there's no engine feature for it. I can't even add it back in really, without getting really creative. So it suffers. It's still good up close. It can kind of do the SMGs thing, especially against elites. If you've got an elite right up to you and you're blasting it with a plasma rifle, its shields will go down, but then you need another gun to finish the job. And because melee isn't as good in Ultimate Firefight Series unless you have a melee specific weapon. So I don't know if everyone knows this. I'll quickly explain it. If a weapon doesn't have a blade on it, it does less melee damage in Ultimate Firefight Series. So all of the guns we've shown so far do less melee damage than Halo 3 Vanilla, half as much in fact. Every weapon with a blade on it, like the ones I'm highlighting, does bonus melee damage. And that is a lot of weapons, mostly Covenant and Banished ones. To kind of get you to pick up those weapons, to be honest, is just another thing that's a benefit of using those weapons. If you stick to human weapons all the time, you're going to be meleeing less. It's just something you have to put up with. But the weapons themselves tend to be a bit better, so it kind of balances out. Plasma rifle suffers because it doesn't get a bonus to meleeing, and you really want to finish it after you've stripped the shields. So either dual wield it with a pistol or just don't use it, use a better gun. The Brute plasma rifle, however, is different. The Brute plasma rifle, I would say, honestly, better than the SMG. Due to the fact that it's still a close range monster, like the plasma rifle, but it's got a blade on it. So once you've stripped the shields really, really quickly, which is what it does best, you can then stab them in the face and they're dead. And that combination works on pretty much everything, aside from some of the boss fights. Like, use that against brutes, especially shielded brutes, like on the Covenant waves, where you get loads of shielded brutes come in with brute plasma rifles. Take one of them, blast them, bludgeon them. Works like a charm. Really, really good. Get two of them. They're dual wieldable. It uses the Halo 2 stats for the brute plasma rifle. I haven't changed anything, I don't think, other than the melee damage, which is the same as a spike rifles in base Halo 3. So it's a bit better than a normal Halo 3 melee. so more than double some of the human weapons. Use that, shoot, shields are popped, stab them, and it'll take 1 or 2 melees and you'll kill them. So it works really, really good. It even beats the SMG, because the SMG, yeah, it's really good at shooting things up close, but it's not as good at stripping shields. And what are you going to do once you have stripped the shield? With the SMG, you just keep shooting them and kill them eventually, but the brute plasma rifle, you just press B and they're dead. So, yeah, I think that's a good gun, especially compared to the normal plasma rifle. Next up, we've got the plasma pistol. This is one that is severely slept on, I think. It's got the same stats as the Halo Reach plasma pistol, but it can be dual wielded again. The Halo Reach plasma pistol, if you don't know, is really, really good. Just its base fire, like the actual damage of its base fire is crazy. You can kill a grunt in like 3 or 4 shots. It is not bad at just like peppering them, and it breaks shields easily with either mode of its fire. Plus you've got the utility of it does one-shot most enemy shields with a charged up blast, and it disables vehicles. So it's got great utility and it does great damage. I don't think it's as consistent killing as the brute plasma rifle, but it's up there. It's very, very good. I'm surprised I don't see more people using it, to be honest. I think because dual wielding in base Halo 2 and 3 is not usually your best course of action, I've specifically tried to make it less punishing to dual wield. So next time you play, experiment, try using a plasma pistol with something. You might be surprised just how much damage it does. Moving on to the next weapon, the magma pistol. She has a lot of similarities to a similar gun in SPV3. If you know, you know. It's good. Its primary fire is, it does the exact same damage as a brute plasma rifle. Sorry, it's not as consistent though. It's not easy to aim. It shoots in a burst that's not as fast as a brute plasma rifle being held down. Is it worth using? The secondary fire, when you overcharge it, that is also very good at area denial. It doesn't do that much damage, and it's not as good as, say, a plasma pistol where you overcharge it and then just finish them off with any headshot weapon. It can't do that, but because it puts a big area of fire on the ground or on an enemy, it's great at, like, if you're defending one doorway, set fire to the doorway. The enemies aren't going to charge you, and if they do, they're going to burn. It's also got a blade, which means it can kind of emulate the brute plasma rifle in shoot them a few times with a primary and then shank them. But it's not as good at it because it doesn't strip shields as fast. I'm going to say this one is a low B tier. It's got its uses, but overall it's not as good as some of the better weapons that have sort of... A lot of these weapons have a mode to killing, like you know what you're going to do with it to kill enemies. This one you have to get creative, like it's very situational. So it can be great in the right moment, but overall it's just not as consistent, I think. Moving on, we've got the Needler. Now the Needler works the same as Halo Reach, so it can't attach to an enemy unless they're unshielded. If they are unshielded, it takes 7 needles and it's pretty much an insta-kill. Only like Flood Juggernauts and some of the bosses can survive a super combine. It's also dual wieldable. If it is dual wielded, it uses Halo 2's reload times, which are way slower, so it's slightly balanced in that regard, but still it's amazing. Try dual wielding the Needlers. Like, it takes like 3 seconds to kill most unshielded brutes. Not quite as strong at elites, but still strip shields really fast. So you can dual wield it with some of the strip shields, or even just use it by itself and just brute force ping ping ping. It's almost like a better assault rifle in every way, because again your strategy is just literally hold down the trigger on whatever you want to kill, but it does it so much better, especially because it hones as well, and the honing's good. I'm starting to think that I shouldn't have said that the Covenant weapons are worse, because I don't think they actually are. I'm going to say the Needler is... It's not quite as consistent as the Brute Plasma Rifle, but it's a close second. Is that true? No, actually, I think it's better. It's honestly better. Because with this, you know, if you see a tanky enemy, I've got a Needler, it's dead. Like, you don't worry about it. Like, it will go down. Especially if you combine it with any shield stripper. But even by itself, you're probably going to just kill it. So yeah, it's in the A tier, definitely. It's because it has such limited ammo, it can't beat these two, because by itself it's good for like 1 or 2 kills on something really annoying, but then you're out of ammo. You don't have that same problem with a battle rifle or DMR. Next up we have the Plasma Repeater. So the Repeater, it obviously works differently to Reach. It's kind of based on Mythic Jackie's, again, Plasma Repeater. It's not the exact same, but it's quite close. Shoots loads of plasma really quickly and then really slowly after that, and you have to wait a little bit to let it sort of recharge. You can keep spamming the trigger to shoot faster, like more frequently, but it will then overheat, and so you're gonna have to wait again anyway. It's almost like it's got the exact same problem as the plasma rifle, which it's very similar to. It's better than the plasma rifle, because up close you can just absolutely shred shields. But once you've shredded the shield, then what? Like, it's even worse than the plasma rifle, because not only do you do barely any damage, you're barely shooting anymore once you've lowered the shield, because it needs to be recharged. So it's not great. It can be used if you get one and you're up close with, say, an elite ultra. It can strip their shield surprisingly fast compared to some of the other options. But other than that situation, you're probably just going to want something else. So I'm going to say D tier. The Storm Rifle, you'd think it'd be pretty much the same as the Repeater. I don't think it is. It's the same stats as the Halo 4 Storm Rifle. It's surprisingly a lot better at mid-range. The actual projectiles travel way faster, and you can strip shields of something quite far away. Again, it doesn't operate great by itself. You need something else, like a pistol or something in your back pocket to actually finish anything off. But that's not bad. You probably are going to have an headshot weapon as your secondary. Headshot weapons are really good. Like, you're going to want a BR or a DMR or even a Magnum just in the back pocket anyway. So it's not bad. I'm going to say it's C tier. Is it better than the Commando? I'm going to say it's better than the Commando, honestly. I'd pick this up over a Commando. So yeah, it's C tier, I'd say. Middle of the road. It's an assault rifle, but it shoots plasma. But that's better because it strip shields. Then we have the Covenant Carbine, which is unchanged base Halo 3 and is really, really good. It has the same properties as the DMR, basically. It can penetrate straight through helmets. It can decapitate enemies, which is fun. I think it strips shields slightly faster. But other than that, it's pretty much the same as the DMR again. I don't know which one has more ammo off the top of my head. I actually don't. But I feel like when I have a DMR, it's almost a little bit more functional. I don't know why. Probably just because DMR ammo is easier to find than carbine ammo. So, hot take. You could put the DMR and this in any order, but I'm going to say it's slightly... I prefer the DMR, but your results may vary. Like, they're both very, very good guns. Very good. You're always going to want one. A precision weapon. And it's a good one. However, if you do get a carbine, it's hard not to be a little bit disappointed that you didn't get its big bad brother, the needle rifle, which is just the carbine, but better in almost every way. That's going to be our first S tier. I'm not even debating it. Any unshielded enemy dies in 3 shots, even if you can't aim. That's crazy. If you can aim, in this update at least, it can pierce grunt helmet and it can pierce skirmisher helmets. So it's just headshotting everything. And if you mess the headshot up, just shoot it 2 more times and it'll explode. Like, there's no wrong way to use it. Aside from just firing into shields blankly. If someone's shielded, you need another gun. That is a downside. But what is shielded will eventually be unshielded. Like, use any of these other guns. Take the shields off a shielded brute. Use the needle rifle. Finish it in 1 to 3 shots. Like, guaranteed. That is amazing. It is an amazing gun. And it's definitely S tier. Like, if you get a needle rifle, the only downside is it does have a lot of ammo to start with. Like, I think it has 21 shots just loaded at any time. I might be wrong. But you can feel it's got a lot of ammo. And you can even fire it automatic if you'd prefer. So it can double as a commando on top of everything else. Again, its only downside is it's not great at shield stripping, even compared to the carbine and DMR. Definitely not as good as the carbine, but everything else it shreds. It's really, really good. It takes down bosses very easily. Anything that becomes unshielded will die. Next up, we've got the Fire Shard rifle. Each of its bullets, it shoots in bursts of 3 or 4, I can't remember. Each of its bullets are actually really weak. I think they're the same damage as the SMG. So they're not great. Like, imagine shooting 4 SMG bullets. That's not that impressive. But they light things on fire, which is complicated. Like, every enemy basically changes its behaviour when it's on fire. Light a grunt on fire, it tries to run away, which is good. Light a jackal on fire, it tries to run away, which is good. Elites, you can't light on fire unless they've got no shields, because shields just prevent the fire shards from attaching. It can strip shields quite well, because it does SMG damage again. Like, it's not awful at stripping shields, but this is another one you're going to be using mostly on unshielded enemies. The major problem is when you set fire to brutes, because it does a lot of damage to them. They take damage over time, and it's quite a lot when they don't have shields. So they'll die quite quickly. And actually, if you shoot them, I think it's 8 times, it super combines and causes a big fireball that kills them even faster, like almost instantly. But once they're on fire, they will berserk and they will batter you. If they are up close, they will just beat the ever-loving word you can't say on YouTube area. Like, you're gonna die. So it's better to use at range against brutes. If you know for a fact that they can't close the distance before they burn to death. But if they can, it's very risky, because you've got a burning, angry gorilla running to beat the poo out of you. So it's situational in that way. Very situational. I would actually put it right next to its cousin, the magma pistol. Is it better? I'd probably say it's slightly worse. It can melee well as well, so when them brutes do arrive, if they've burned enough, you can just stab them. But if they haven't, they're going to stab you. It's got its uses. It's very good at just, like, if you have loads of grunts, for example, shooting at you, it can disrupt them so easily, because just a few bursts and they're all running away on fire. Like, makes it easy for you to get away. Even if brutes are shooting at you, set them on fire, they'll drop the guns and just charge you, which is, again, a double-edged sword. But in the right situation, it's good. You just have to be careful with it. I'm happy with it in the B tier. It's a good gun. It's interesting, I think. Right, then we have the Pulse Carbine. The Pulse Carbine is... it's okay. The major problem with it, and it's going to be resolved next patch, is if you shoot a burst to the Pulse Carbine, it tracks, it makes it easier, and it can headshot. So it's like a tracking battle rifle. That sounds amazing, yeah. except the enemies jump out of the way because they can tell they're being locked onto. I'm taking that away next update, so it'll be a lot better. I'm going to judge this, though, based on what it is now, because I've judged the needle rifle the same. The needle rifle, I'm probably going to make it so it can't shoot through helmets next update. And that'll probably knock it down from S tier, maybe. It'd probably still be S tier, it just takes 2 shots instead of 1 now. But the pulse carbine, as it is, it's really hard to get consistent damage on it because you shoot anything at long range, which is what it's best at, and it's going to jump out of the way. So it's basically only useful up close at the moment. When you do shoot it up close, it's okay. It's a headshot weapon that strips shields quite fast, and it disrupts the enemy because they keep dodging out of the way. So I'm not going to say it's an F tier, but it's really not good. It's going to be a D tier at the moment. Next up, we've got the Spiker. Now, the Spiker is an interesting one. It's almost like a simpler version of the Fire Shard rifle, because you don't have to worry about fire changing all the enemy's behaviour, but also it just doesn't have that much of an impact. It strips shields quite quickly, it strips health quite quickly, and it's got a blade, so it does a lot of melee damage. Especially against Flood, it's amazing, because you're just meleeing everything and just using the full auto to just aim at limbs and take off as many as you can. Yeah, so it's not bad. It has got Halo Reach's base stats, but again, it can be dual wielded, so it's better than Halo Reach. It's middle of the road. I would say it's usually better than the Fire Shard rifle, but it is. Do we almost? You know what? I'm knocking the Fire Shard rifle down to top of C, and the Spiker also top of C. It's not that great that I want to call it B tier, really. It's a middle of the road weapon. Like, you're never excited to get one, but you're also like, okay, I can work with this. And I feel like that's what the C tier is. Like, you're not like, oh no, you're like, whatever. And you know what, while I'm doing this, I'm going to put the pistol and the auto mag down to D tier, because those guns you are kind of like, oh no. Right, next up we've got the Mauler. Is it called the Mauler? It is called the Mauler. Yeah, Mauler Mangler, yeah. So the Mauler, it's almost weird because I almost put this in the power weapons video, because is it a power weapon? It's a shotgun, kind of. But then I thought about it and I'm like, nah, it's not really. It doesn't one-shot like anything other than grunts or jackals. But you can dual wield it. It's got the base stats of Halo 3. It has got a blade, so you can melee after you shoot. It's okay. Where do I put it? It's got tiny range, and it's got barely any ammo. I'm gonna say, is it better or worse than the Spiker? Because it does kind of the same thing as the Spiker. Like, you just shoot and then melee, but it's not particularly amazing at it like the Brute Plasma Rifle. Like the Brute Plasma Rifle, it strips shields almost as fast, but it can kind of even do medium range. Like, it's hard to aim, but you can do it. And it's got loads of ammo. So, yeah, I'm going to say C tier, it's okay. It's after the Spiker. Then we have got, depending on who you ask, either the Mangler or the Piercer, if you're into SPV3. It's an interesting one, the Mangler. It's basically got all the strengths of the Magnum. Like, it can pierce shields, really high damage if you can hit something, but it's really hard to hit something. Fires quite fast as well, so like, if something's in close, you can kill really fast. Especially brutes, it does great against their helmets. what am I going to say for this? It's I think on the whole it's slightly better than the Magnum, but it's close. It's going to stay in B tier. It does more damage, but it's harder to aim. But I think the more damage is good. Like, you usually want more damage. Plus it's got a blade, so again, you're shooting things up close. You can do loads of melee damage to them. The blades are always a game changer, really. You don't realise how much you melee until you don't have a bladed weapon and you're like, why do I have to melee this brute like 6 times to kill it? Then we have the Disruptor. The Disruptor's interesting. It strips shields, and that's about it. Like, don't ask it to do anything else. It can disable vehicles, but you have to shoot the driver or a passenger 3 times. Like, it can't super combine off of the vehicle itself. You have to shoot directly onto a passenger or a driver. So it's not as good as a plasma pistol for vehicle disabling. It's a shield stripper. It's just really good at shield stripping. Is that enough by itself to be amazing? Like, team it up with a needle rifle that is great at everything, but it can't strip shields, and you've got a brilliant kit. And it usually has a decent amount of ammo, so it can keep up with the needle rifle for a while. But by itself, it can headshot, so it can kill grunts 2 shots if you aim right. But it's a shield stripper. That is what it does. I'm gonna say it knows its job, and it does its job really well. I'm gonna say it's a B tier. It has one job, it does it perfectly. If you need to strip shields, you'll always be happy to see it. If you don't need to strip shields, use something else. Simple gun. Right, first of the Forerunner weapons, we have got the Bolt Shot. Mostly the same stats as Halo 4. The secondary shotgun fire works a little bit differently because I couldn't get it to work the exact same. Loads of damage with the shotgun fire, stupid amount of damage. Normal fire's not great, but it strips shields eventually. Decent zoom, decent range. It's pretty much a pistol in that regard, but it's attached to a joint shotgun that eats all the ammo really fast. Takes ages to recharge after you use it, but it will murder whatever you use it on. And you have to charge it, obviously, which is a little bit of an opportunity cost, but it's still really good. Really good. Bolt Shot. It's a difficult one. It's I want to put it really high. It's definitely A tier. Is it better than the Needler? They kind of do similar things. They're good at killing really tough opponents. But the Needler, they can be far away. This, they have to be up close. So I'm going to say no. It's probably better than the Brute Plasma Rifle, though. So yeah, I'm going to put it right here. That looks about right. Overall, very, very solid weapon. The only thing that lets it down a bit is you tend not to get it with much ammo. But you can usually find more, because if you've killed one Promethean, there's usually other Prometheans around. So you can find more. It's not impossible, but once the Prometheans are dead, you're not going to find more. It is what it is. Next we have the Suppressor. The Suppressor is not fantastic. It's like a medium-ranged SMG that's not that good. It's good at shooting Flood's limbs off, but overall it's just it's in the category of just hold down the trigger, like the assault rifle and the SMG and plasma rifle. Like, it's better than the plasma rifle, probably. Honestly, I don't even think it is. I'm gonna put this in D tier because it's slightly better than the plasma rifle, but you can't find ammo for it anywhere. And it's only better than the plasma rifle if you're in medium range, which is not what you want it for anyway. And it's got no blade, so it can't finish. So overall, D tier, in my opinion. Now we are on to a really good weapon that's really far down the list. We have the light rifle. The light rifle is pretty much what if you could have a battle rifle and a DMR and hold them at the same time, and you can pick which you want to use whenever, which is amazing. I'm putting it at top of 8 here. It's more like the carbine even, because the alternate fire had strip shields, so it's like a DMR and a carbine. How could it not be 8 here? But it's a testament to how good the needle rifle is that I still don't think it's as good as the needle rifle. Ammo is limited, which is always a problem. In fact, we'll put it in S. I'm going to put it in S tier because it's really, really good at everything. It's just hard to find ammo for it. But if you've got it, you're happy you've got it. Like, out of all of the non-power weapons, if you've got a light rifle, you're like, right, I can do some work. You feel comfortable with a light rifle. Things get up close, you use its like normal unzoomed fire, just spray. If you zoom in, it's like the carbine, you can pick off things really far away. It one-shots drones, which is so nice, especially if you play Waterworks. You go up to the top of the bases, there's light rifles up there. Any drone wave, go up there and you'll just be one-shotting them all, and it feels great. So yeah, it's up there in S tier. Still not as good as the needle rifle. The needle rifle is just fantastic at killing most of the enemies in the game really, really quickly. So I don't think you can knock the needle rifle off its #1 spot. Like, it's better than some power weapons for killing brutes, for example. Next, we have got the burst pistol. F tier. Won't hear anything else about it. The burst pistol is a cut weapon from Halo 4. It's got all the same stats as that cut weapon. It might have turned out to be the bolt shot. It's quite similar to the Halo 5 bolt shot, so it might have turned into that. Its textures aren't even like done properly. I put it on very early in the mod, and I forever wished I could delete it. It's impossible to aim. The only way it's really good is if you stand right next to something and just spray it, and then any weapon with a blade, you could have just pressed B. It's not good. I really don't like the burst pistol. It might end up getting removed from the mod. It's that bad. I really don't like it. Then we've got, finally, you might not have actually seen this weapon. It's only in containment at the moment. It is, what's it called now? Stun Blaster. It's a cut weapon from Halo Infinite. It's primary fire. It's a headshot weapon that shoots 2 bolts quite slowly, almost like the piercer, but they don't do as much damage. Bit better at stripping shields. The charged fire shoots what's basically a disruptor super combine, so a big, large range plasma pistol overcharge almost. In my headcanon, this is the gun that the Covenant used to make the plasma pistol in my headcanon, because they're quite similar in that way. I don't know what it would have been like in Halo Infinite, because it was never put in Halo Infinite, so I don't know. But it's you only get them off Sentinels where it's really good. It's really good at fighting Sentinels, because if they're all bunched up, you can literally disable multiple of them in one go with one overcharge shot. But overall, it's still kind of bad. The primary shot is very underwhelming. The overcharge shot, only good against shields or EMP and things like Sentinels. And it's barely in... You only get it when you're fighting Sentinels, which is its saving grace. And it's okay at headshot in the Flood, which don't have helmets, so you can headshot them with anything. So, it's good, but I'd rather have a pistol for headshot in the Flood. I'm going to say bottom of D tier, honestly. It's not... I wouldn't want it over any of these other guns. And with that, we have finished the basic weapons tier list. Comment if you'd like to see a power weapons tier list. Comment what your favourite weapon is, what changes you'd make, both to the mod, these weapons, like how you'd improve these weapons, and changes you think you'd make to this tier list, what you'd move up and down. Let me know what you'd like to see from me in the future. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching this. Thank you. Bye bye.